interesting because as you look through these, they're all freshmen for Boston College. Daniels Jackson is the guy that Mike likes to watch. Heckman came in with a little bit of experience from Germany. Anderson, of course, and Clifford. For Carolina, these are all All-Americans, and all play their role. Barnes, Zeller, Henson, all average double figures. Strickland, his value is as a defender and a passer, has yet to take a three. And Kendall Marshall, well, he's the Lenny Wilkens of this group. He just distributes the ball.
It's amazing to me. You look at his numbers, and I don't remember ever seeing a player this way, 5.3 points a game, but 10 assists. Just really talk about a pass-first point guard. He is the epitome of that.
Absolutely. He had 11 assists last week against Monmouth. We're all set. The officials today, Roger Ayers, Tim Nestor, and Steins. They are the ACC crew here this afternoon, and Carolina has it first to start the ACC season here in the Dean Smith Center. You have to believe some of these young kids from Boston College are wide-eyed coming into this arena. When you see it for the first time, it is somewhat overwhelming.
I'll tell you, there are so many firsts that you go through as a freshman, your first game, but your first road ACC game can be a little disconcerting, and I don't know of a tougher environment to come into than this one.
Think of Hoosiers. You come out and you measure the 10 feet to the hoop. Boston College, first possession. See how they do here. Got 12 in the shot clock, and there's the first turnover, and that's what Steve Donahue was very concerned about coming into the ball game. He doesn't want turnovers, and he hopes his team gets hot early.
Well, they have to get good possessions, and they no matter when the good shot comes in the shot clock, they're going to take threes. And there's a good defensive ball club for North Carolina, and they don't want to pass up good opportunities.
This is Barnes. His shot is short. Another rebound for Boston College. Steve in his second year at Boston College after 10 years at Cornell. He is looking at this, not so much at the scoreboard. He wants development out of all these guys, looking ahead perhaps to next year. Kick it out outside. This is a three ball. And another rebound for Barnes.
We touched that at the top. Ryan Anderson coming off a double-double against Rhode Island, and you'll see a lot of threes. We watched him in pre-game warm-up. Everybody was out behind the arc.
That's a two from Zeller, and Carolina's on the board. Mike, last season, Boston College attempted an ACC record 802 three-pointers. They've already shot over 300 this season.
That's how this, they've got 6 guys on the roster who are capable of stepping out and knocking that shot down.
Little jump hook backed in. That's Ryan Anderson.
And he's got a tough cover. I mean, John Henson will probably be the defensive player of the year, if not in the country, in the league this year. And he hasn't seen anybody that long guarding him. That was a nice jump hook.
And Zeller can't hold on to it. Goes out of bounds. First turnover of the game for Carolina. There's a look at Roy Williams in his 9th year at his alma mater, 61 years old. Only the 18th head coach in the history of this great school. Roy was taking his teams to 7 Final Fours between both Kansas and North Carolina. What a job he does.
And we expect there to be another one of those added to that list at the end of this year.
Anderson dribbles himself into trouble on the baseline. And it's a jump ball. Possession arrow belongs to Boston College.
Well, he's averaging over 3 blocks per, but there you see the length and just getting a little piece of it and then adjusting the shot. You are always aware of where he is on the floor when you're playing offensively against North Carolina.
Back to Jordan Daniels. Wasn't expecting it. That's a turnover. Jordan Daniels is so tiny. 5'8½".
Well, and he's going to come out and they're going to calm him down a little bit. A couple of turnovers early on. Gabe Moton played minutes for this team last year, and Steve Donahue wants to get a little experience out on the floor.
And this foul will be against Boston College. Dennis Clifford picks up his first team foul. There's a look at Steve. Last year at the Heights, he led the Eagles to a 21-13 record and a berth in the NIT. Advanced to the second round, but this is a total transition now. He's got 9 freshmen, so he's working with them. He won 3 straight Ivy League titles between 2008, 9, and 10.
Well, and last year of the new coaches, he arguably had as much talent as anybody and really utilized it and coached it well. Came in and almost won a game here, a very low-scoring game, 48-46. They controlled tempo, something they want to do today as well.
And the 7-foot senior from Washington, Indiana, gives Carolina a 4-2 lead with those free throws. Henson got away with a foul. Kick it back over. Lonnie Jackson, his shot hits the back of the rim. And Carolina loves to run. Here's Henson. Henson off balance, banks it in.
You have to play him as a left-handed player. And he shoots a lot with his left. He goes left. He loves to finish that way. Maybe a little counterintuitive, but that is his strength.
6-2 and another turnover. This is Zeller. Ball got away from him. Gives it back to Strickland.
Well, and Roy Williams probably got nervous with the second dribble with Zeller going up the floor.
Marshall had a wide open shot. Couldn't put it down. He's hitting only 30% from beyond the arc. Boston College will still play you up tempo. This is Moton in the corner. Clifford's going to try to back Zeller in and dribbles off his foot. That's 4 turnovers already for Boston College, and you can see the emotion, the excitement, and a little bit still wide-eyed here in the Smith Center.
That's you see the turnovers right there. They're just not giving themselves a chance, and there was no double-team help coming that time. They're letting Zeller play Clifford by himself down low, and he just dribbled it off his foot. He was taking his time doing the right thing, but kicked it out of bounds.
Reggie Bullock comes into the game for North Carolina. He's a sophomore from Kinston. This is a 2. Yes.
And that's one thing. I mean, you love what Hinson has done. He was really raw offensively when he first came to North Carolina, but he's improved his range, improved his offensive game.
Still mostly known as a shot blocker. Leads the Atlantic Coast Conference. Led the league and was 7th nationally last year in shots blocked. And Anderson takes it to the hoop strong.
Nice adjustment that time. North Carolina is really overplaying the wings and passes outside, so the back door is going to be available. Anderson recognized that.
Henson, his shot is short. Boston College trying to stay in this game early, and that will be a foul against Henson, his first. So with 15:36 to play in the first half, Carolina, as expected, out to the early lead. Boston College only down by 4.
A great guest experience. That makes my day. And during the 4-course feast, there's so much to choose from.
The 4-course seafood feast is back at Red Lobster, still just $15. Get soup, salad, unlimited Cheddar Bay biscuits, dessert, and your choice of 7 entrees, like new honey barbecue shrimp skewers or shrimp and scallops Alfredo. All 4 courses just $15.
It's really good value. All my guests love it. I'm Jody Gonzalez, Red Lobster General Manager, and I see food differently.
For years, we've been building a tradition of coaching excellence that continues through success, through championships, through perseverance, through progress, and opportunities. The ACC, a tradition of excellence, then, now, and always.
It stands on land where Andrew Jackson camped during the War of 1812. Since it opened in 1852, it's entertained President Woodrow Wilson, Millard Fillmore, Jefferson Davis, and Henry Clay. Stephen Douglas stayed there the night he lost the presidency to Abraham Lincoln. The luxurious historic Battle House Hotel in Mobile, Alabama. Call 866-316-5957 today to create your own history.
So this is my Honda Civic, but not as much fun to drive as I thought it would be.
People are selling their old rides, looking for something new.
Wow, check this out.
They are having way too much fun without me.
I need better gas mileage.
So up to 40 on the highway.
The My Ford Touch just set the temperature.
She listened.
She did listen.
Now, get a Focus with up to $1,000 cash back. Get into the new at your local Ford dealer today.
Out with the old, in with the new. We're the new.
You are watching the ACC Network, an exclusive production of Raycom Sports. Tim Brandt and Mike Jaminski with you at the Dean Dome, full house. Here's a look at Brad Daugherty, the former player. Must not be any NASCAR today.
He takes about 2 weeks off, and then he used to get ready for Daytona coming up here pretty soon. But Brad was one of our colleagues, and now has moved over, does an outstanding job with NASCAR.
James Michael McAdoo has checked in for North Carolina. We didn't think we'd see him today. He's got that sprained left ankle.
Came down on Zeller's foot in a practice on the 4th of January.
He was listed as questionable. We didn't think we'd see him, but he's in. And he's a good one. Baseline, Moton, yes.
They were able to lift Henson a little bit out of the lane, but BC seems to be calming down offensively. Not shooting jump shots, but have attacked the rim in the last 2 possessions.
And it's a 2-point game. Back outside the Marshall, looks at the threes, 0 for 1. Back into the corner, too strong, and Boston College has a chance to tie the game.
Well, they've done a nice job limiting North Carolina to 1 shot, not a lot of second chance opportunities, and not a lot of runouts for the Tar Heels early on.
Moton again on the baseline, dribbled into trouble, so he throws it off the Tar Heel. Well, Duke hung on to beat Georgia Tech. But look at this. Wake Forest over Virginia Tech in what has to be a major surprise.
Yeah, and I did the game before. They lose to Wofford at home and then come back. They get C.J. Harris back, but a very low-scoring game and kind of a surprise.
Talk about a surprise. Humphrey drains a 3, and it's a 9-8 Boston College lead.
He has put a lot of pressure on himself. Has not shot the ball well early in this season, but maybe coming off the bench has helped him calm down.
Almost another turnover. Carolina gets it back. Bullock looks. Barnes, and he'll go to the line for 1 more. Harrison Barnes, and what a move he put on under the basket.
Well, and that's the thing that's changed from last year. He took 40% of his shots were 3-point shots last year, only 20% this year. He's been more aggressive in attacking the rim, more 3-point play opportunities.
Mike, he actually slid the bottom half of his body outside, caught a little hip check, still made the bucket, and he goes to the line. So Cottle picks up his first. Barnes, 72% free throw shooter. Pinches that one just a bit.
Now, this for BC, things have calmed down since Moton has come into the game. He's given them some leadership at the point guard. He started early and then was hurt and lost that to Daniels. But Steve Donahue made that move early, and things have gotten a little better for them.
Talked about their youth, but at the same time, it's a very talented group. This is another turnover. They've had a lot of turnovers here in the first half. That's 5 for Boston College.
You can't give away that many possessions to a team that's this talented at home.
And Zeller makes him pay at the other end.
I really like that move for him. He's one of the few centers in the country that has that little jump hook with both hands. He's been very effective with it, and that was from about 10 feet out, too.
You showed Harrison Barnes earlier. He was out here bright and early. But Zeller was here as well, going right and left with that little jump hook you're talking about. It's hard to get to it. McAdoo inside, Zeller with the follow. No bucket. No bucket. That's an offensive foul.
That's good. You know, a lot of times a team will establish itself in the referee's mind on the offensive glass, and they might get away with pushes. But early on, BC have done a nice job of checking out, and they get that call.
This is a good crew today. Roger Ayers, Tim Nestor, Raymond Steins. Some of the best in the ACC. Moton's done a nice job calming them down, getting everybody in the flow. Shot clock is at 12. Anderson can't finish.
Ryan, he was worried about that McAdoo had fallen down underneath him. He didn't want to land on him.
3-ball. P.J. Hairston.
And Hairston and Bullock are the guys who are going to come off. They make and take the majority of threes, and when they are both out on the floor, it can really spread you out defensively.
Hairston scored 16 the other night against Monmouth and hits his first bucket this afternoon. Anderson again, yes, that's a 3.
And that's a nice play. They ran a little 2-man screen at the corner, and then Anderson filled in behind the gap. He was wide open.
Pretty nice job by Dennis Clifford playing through Tyler Zeller to knock it out of bounds. It'll belong to Carolina when we come back. The Tar Heels still leading the ball game, only 15-12.
If you love your car and want to protect it, then you need Haviland Motor Oil. Chevron Haviland contains the Deposit Shield formulation. This protects your fuel economy and helps minimize carbon emissions, which of course helps to protect the environment. So look for the shield and protect what matters. Haviland.
With Food Lion, when you gather friends and family for the big game, around good food, at great prices, you've got reason to celebrate. Food Lion is your neighborhood's home team for savings, with great prices on all your game day favorites. Stop by your neighborhood Food Lion today.
Our hand-breaded buffalo chicken tenders are made with Frank's Red Hot Buffalo Wing Sauce. They're not for the faint of tongue, and that's just the way it is. Only at Hardee's. We make our made-from-scratch biscuits fresh every morning because that's what fresh means, and that's just the way it is. The new Cheddar Biscuit, made from scratch every morning at Hardee's.
Every day you face financial choices, large and small. When you make the right choices, you head in the right direction. At BB&T, we've spent more than 140 years sharing our knowledge, helping clients become more informed in all areas of their financial lives. With our checking and savings options and online and mobile banking, it's easier than ever to find the direction just right for you. Talk to us today about your banking needs and know how it feels to know more. BB&T, official bank of the ACC.
The ACC is more interactive than ever. All you have to do is vote in weekly polls on Facebook, join the conversation at the ACC on Twitter, and subscribe to wireless alerts. Visit the Fan Zone on the ACC.com to discover how you can access the Atlantic Coast Conference. Well, during the break, we got a look into the future of North Carolina football. Larry Fedora, the new football coach here, he ended this speech saying he wanted to see everybody at the spring game, wanted to sell out Kenan Stadium next fall. Said, "I am Larry Fedora, and I am a Tar Heel."
He needs a little more enthusiasm, I think it is. Needs that sixth cup of coffee. No, he had the crowd fired up, too. And new AD and Bubba Cunningham, a lot of new things going on here at North Carolina. But this the one constant is what's been out on the hardwood floor, and Roy Williams has had an unbelievable start to his career, and you'd expect him to finish it here with a few more titles.
Talking about the hardwood, Mike, they're cleaning up a little blood. That's the kind of game it's been. Boston College surprising some of these people and hanging around them. They thought this thing would be a half 100 at halftime against a team with 9 freshmen. But right now it's 15-12, so they got the blood up and we're ready to go.
Let's keep an eye and see how the offense works in the half court without Kendall Marshall out there. Strickland moves over to take over that position.
That's Strickland looking for his first 3 ball of the season. Can't get it. And Carolina makes him pay at the other end. Nice drive by Matt Humphrey.
And I think that Dexter Strickland surprised his team with that shot.
Right now, Carolina's throwing bricks, and they're keeping Boston College in the game.
Well, if they can get Humphrey going, as I talked about, 30% and 29% from 3, really low numbers coming in. But if they can get him confident, he could be a huge boost today.
Drive a little strong by Humphrey there. He's the only BC player to start every game. Strickland kicks it out. That's going to be an offensive foul. Offensive foul, they called that against Reggie Bullock, and that'll be his first personal.
And I think that's what you have to do against Bullock. He's only taken 9 free throws on the year. You've got to get up and make him a driver. Heckman gets his hand up and then moves and draws the charge. He anticipates, kind of leads him to the baseline and gets the call.
And that is the first foul on Reggie Bullock. Kendall Marshall comes out of the ball, or back into the ball game. He got pretty good rest there. Jackson in the ball game. Look for the drive, and they close that lane in a hurry. Heckman has yet to be heard from this afternoon. Dangerous pass by Anderson, almost taken away, and it is a turnover for Boston College. Turnover number 6 for the Eagles.
That's going to start, and this team, North Carolina, has been very aggressive in playing passing lanes, getting a hand out. And I guarantee you that Ryan Anderson has never seen anybody like Henson guarding him 25 feet from the basket. I mean, he couldn't even get a look at the rim with the clock running down.
Henson 6'11", Harrison Barnes 6'8". Both guys move like guards, extremely athletic. Inside they go to Zeller. They double down on him. See the drought. Back outside to Marshall. Good ball movement by Carolina, and the 3-ball by Barnes. He now has 5 points.
Well, BC, what they're going to do is they are committed to double teaming big inside. And this was a good kick out. Henson not forcing anything. Caudle coming around. You see the pass up top and the beautiful swing of the basketball. That'll get you a good open look most of the time.
4-point lead for the Tar Heels. Well, Heckman's been quiet, Mike. He needs to get in this game as well. Boston College will fire the threes. They can shoot themselves in or shoot themselves out of a ball game. Down to Zeller, little jump hook. Yes!
Much too easy. A nice deep catch by Zeller, 2 feet in the paint. Paul's got to fight him for position inside.
Here's Heckman.
On cue. That was a good shot.
That was a good shot. Had a good look. Strickland and one. Carolina with its largest lead of the game, and Strickland's going to the line.
They've got Strickland and Marshall out on the floor, but Strickland is the guy he is so fast with the basketball. The beautiful crossover dribble, no bigs back, no real shot blocker for BC, and he attacks the rim.
Dexter Strickland, 6'3", 180-pound junior from Rahway, New Jersey, with this famous St. Patrick High School up there. Played point guard his first year. They moved him to the 2. He plays both.
Name me a team where your shooting guard has not made a 3 this year.
I can't do it.
And you know, I couldn't think of one in Division I. And but he's made modifications to his game. He knows that's not a strength of his. A little bit like Jackie Manuel of a few years ago, who started out thinking he could shoot the 3, but then became more of a driver and a slasher.
And Strickland's 0 for 1 beyond New York today. Surprising that he's even taking the threes as you look at Jackie Manuel.
New addition to the staff within the last month or so.
8:52 to play in the first half.
See if Jordan Daniels can come in and calm down a little bit, having watched the game.
Carolina with its largest lead of this ball game. Shot clock is down to 7. Humphrey looks up and notices that, but there's nowhere for him to go. Down underneath, shot clock at 1, and that's a violation. Good defense by the Tar Heels. Turnover number 7.
They didn't get into that 2-man game until about 8 seconds left on the clock. They've got to give themselves some more time for BC, and that one extra dribble by Clifford got the violation.
Carolina going after its 27th win in a row in the Dean Dome. 28 if you count the NIT, but they're saying 27th. As we're going to the 8-minute mark in the first half.
That just shows you the versatility. We talk about Henson as a shot blocker and a guy who will control the paint, but he has been out on the perimeter most of this game against Anderson and done a very nice job.
Shot clock at 10, so they're back in the danger zone. Daniels nowhere to go. They've got to recognize it at 4. They may not get a shot off again. They don't. And Carolina at the other end. Harrison Barnes again. It's a 10-0 run.
That was an unbelievable pass by Kendall Marshall. There was not a lot of room for him to thread it through there. Always has his eyes up looking to see who's open, and Harrison Barnes committed to running the floor. Almost 2 violations back-to-back, and there's that pass, and you see everybody for BC has their back turned, not knowing where the ball is. 6 assists already in this game, and not even just a little over halfway through the first half. Tim, he has not had a double-figure scoring game this year, but has had 6 double-figure assist games.
Incredible. incredible. And a tribute to the way that Carolina is playing this year as you look at Shirley Barnes, Harrison's mother. Came all the way from Ames, Iowa for this game to watch her son, the sophomore. He scored in double figures 27 of the last 29 games. And Jordan Ashley right next to her. And named after Michael Jordan.
Roy Williams going to push the pedal down a little bit more here and put some full court pressure, and he gets the turnover.
And right now, Heckman is frustrated. Patrick Heckman turns it over again. We're with the Bell and the Well and Chapel Hill, and it's a good one.
Like so many great pioneers before me, guided only by a dream, I'm embarking on a journey of epic proportion. I will travel from sea to shining sea, through amber waves of grain, and I won't stop until I've helped every driver in America save hundreds on car insurance. Well, I'm at the parking lot. That's a good start.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
The ACC, electrifying, historic, mobile, news, video, and analysis, and put it all in your pocket. Introducing the official ACC mobile apps presented by Haviland and Outback Steakhouse. Available on your Android, iPhone, and iPad. Watch live games from the ACC network. Get up-to-the-minute scores and access exclusive content. Download it for free today. Visit theacc.com/apps.
Let's take a look at the AT&T fast analysis. North Carolina advances the ball. And they do it in two different ways with two different players. Dexter Strickland does it off the dribble, so fast, the crossover, and the three-point play opportunity. And then Kendall Marshall, the look ahead to Harrison Barnes, and that is a look at the AT&T fast analysis, Tim.
I like how you did that. You know, that was nice, Mike. The G-Man breaking it down.
I used to think your job was hard. I'm getting a different appreciation for it here.
How about that move? That move looked easy. And again, it's Harrison Barnes who has 9 points.
And Steve Donahue can feel this game getting out of shape. And Carolina was a little sluggish in the first 7-8 minutes, but they have come alive.
And another turnover. They are just totally out of sync. Dennis Clifford just threw it away to an imaginary figure.
There's the look inside. We talked about him being more aggressive. That's awfully tough to stop. I mean, Clifford can block shots, but that's not what BC does. And if Barnes gets a couple steps to the rim, he's going to have a big night.
Mike, we have 7 minutes remaining in the half. The last Boston College basket came at 11:34.
They can't even get into their offense. They've had 2 shot clock violations and a bunch of turnovers.
Boston College trying to end that 12-0 run. This is a 3, and that's good.
And that's what
finally, John Cowell.
And that's what they need, Tim. And they need to push the ball a little bit. They're going to get open looks, and Steve Donahue talked about it. He doesn't care when it comes in the shot clock.
Barnes is feeling it. The 3-ball.
We saw him at 8 o'clock this morning at the Open. We had film of him. He was the only one in the Smith Center, and it has really paid dividends. His field goal percentage has gone up in the last 4 or 5 games.
30-17 in the foul against Carolina. They called that on Strickland. That's his first. preparing for this game, there's been so much talk about the 9 freshmen for Boston College and about their wins really haven't been against anyone. And so all Roy Williams kept telling them is, hey, last time they played, February 19th, they won 48-46. So that was their battle cry, and he kept the focus of his ball club. But not here this afternoon. Barnes has the last 7 points for Carolina, and they lead 30-17. Oh, that's a tough shot, but he banks it in.
Well, you talk to Steve Donahue, and he really, his eyes light up when he talks about Dennis Clifford and how hard he works and understands the game. And he thinks he's going to be a leader on this team as this group matures.
It is right now P.J. Hairston and Barnes tearing this club apart. Hairston was 6. When they start hitting threes like that, Mike, they're hard to beat 4 of 7.
Maybe impossible. And that was a question mark. They talked about their perimeter offense, and they thought that Hairston would come in and help. Bullock has improved and gotten better, and then Barnes is a 40% three-point shooter, so they've got 3 guys they can look to.
Shot clock at 2, and that is not a good foul by John Henson. Boston College was down to 3 on the shot clock, and they weren't going to get a good shot. Closed captioning for ACC basketball is provided by Bojangles' famous chicken and biscuits. It's Bo time. Right now it's Carolina time as they're running this thing away, 33-19. But Gabe Moton is going to the line. He's a sophomore. 6'1", 177-pounder from Florida. The makeup of this team, Mike, is a little surprising. You have so many kids from California and a couple from Florida. You're wondering, how did they get them from California to Boston, Chestnut Hill? I was talking to John Thompson III yesterday, and JT3 says, well, that comes from the Ivy Leagues, where Coach Donahue was at Cornell. And he says that a lot of the Ivy Leagues look to California for their student players and student athletes because of the school system out there.
Well, you look at the student makeup for BC, it's the 5th highest percentage of any state in the country. So it's not just the basketball team. There's an allure there in general.
That foul's going to be on P.J. Hairston.
That's where you look where Boston College has had some success, and there's been some runouts. John Cowell's come in and given them a nice pop off the bench. Humphrey getting out has knocked down some shots, getting out and running. You have to play. You have to play. That's a little physical game. It's amazing. Every year you get into league play, and there's a different intensity in the building. I mean, I've done a few games up here this year, non-conference, but even whatever the conference game, there's a different buzz in the hall.
Oh, there's no question about that. Getting a little chippy right there. They thought maybe a hard foul. Matt Humphrey.
Well, Humphrey, he's a guy they need to lean on. You talk about how young they are. He's the oldest guy on the team, and he's had some experience, a transfer from Oregon. He's a junior. They need him to step up. He's only shooting 30% from the field, and that number's got to go up in league play.
He's got to make his free throws, too. He's only made 27 of his 43 this year. Been in double figures 7 times this season. They just want more consistency, as you said. Miss them both. Carolina has shown good patience here in the first half. John Cowell with a rebound. They'll push it. They'll look for the 3. They love to shoot their threes, as Mike mentioned earlier. More than 800 of them last year, and over 300 coming into this game. We've seen that a lot today. Young guys picking up their dribble, getting into trouble. Cow's shot falls iron. And the putback is good. So Matt Humphrey with a good follow.
Threes are coming. Your perimeter players have to hang in there for those long rebounds. Carolina leaking out on that play. Humphrey getting the layup as a result.
Boston College has cut the lead to 11. And a battle under the board, still loose. Kick it back out to Marshall, looks underneath, and there's the foul. McAdoo really battling down low. 3 different opportunities on that last possession. North Carolina ranked number 3 in the Associated Press, trying to add to the trophy case. They believe they have a shot at another title.
Hello?
Hello, Todd. Just calling to let you know I'm giving you the silent treatment.
So you're calling to tell me you're giving me the silent treatment?
Yeah.
Jen, this is like the 8th time you've
No,
called.
it's fine. My family has free unlimited mobile to any mobile minutes from AT&T, so I can call all I want.
I don't think you understand how the silent treatment works. Hello?
Buy unlimited messaging and get free unlimited calling to any U.S. mobile on any network. AT&T.
It stands on land where Andrew Jackson camped during the War of 1812. Since it opened in 1852, it's entertained President Woodrow Wilson, Millard Fillmore, Jefferson Davis, and Henry Clay. Stephen Douglas stayed there the night he lost the presidency to Abraham Lincoln. The luxurious, historic Battle House Hotel in Mobile, Alabama. Call 866-316-5957 today to create your own history.
With Food Lion, when you gather friends and family for the big game, around good food, at great prices, you've got reason to celebrate. Food Lion is your neighborhood's home team for savings, with great prices on all your game day favorites. Stop by your neighborhood Food Lion today.
A loaded Honda Accord SE with leather is almost $1,000 less than a comparably equipped Camry.
Over $1,500 less than Sonata, and over $2,000 less than Altima. Why would anyone settle for less than a Honda?
See your Honda dealer of the Carolinas today.
Welcome back inside the Dean Smith Zone. It's Carolina 33, Boston College 22. It was a 12-0 Carolina run. They opened up a 14-point lead. That was the largest lead of the game. Harrison Barnes, 12 points, leads all scorers. And the 6'8 sophomore from Ames, Mike has talked about, he was here early today shooting around. He is red hot, and he has led the Tar Heels. Coming up Tuesday, Mike, what do you think of this one?
Well, I think, you look at with Grant and Scott in the backcourt, that's going to give them a huge boost. And Reggie Johnson needs to be healthy for the remainder of the year for Miami. He's a guy who's a wide body who can battle against this front line in North Carolina.
McAdoo misses the first one. This has been a 9-game homestand for North Carolina. Mike says next Tuesday night here, of course, against Miami. The next road trip, January 14th at Florida State. The last time they were on the road, they lost to Kentucky.
Roy Williams must have been talking to Jim Boeheim in the offseason about scheduling. I don't think Boeheim has left the state of New York yet, maybe a little bit. But no, it's been good for this group. I think that they feel like they've improved over the last couple of weeks. They've gotten some practice time. This is a team that spent 10 days on the West Coast time zone early on in the year, so they had their share of travel early in the schedule.
See if Boston College can rally a little bit here. They got to push from behind. This will be on Reggie Bullock. And he comes up limping.
Harrison came up limping on that a little bit.
Yeah, correction. P.J. Harrison, his first. Or his second correction. Both wrong on both counts. Harrison Barnes checks back into the ball game. Clifford makes the first. Dennis Clifford is 7 feet. He's 241 pounds, a freshman from Bridgewater, Massachusetts. Went to Milton Academy. He's one of those guys that BC fans have been screaming for. They want some of their homegrown products, and they got one here with Clifford. That ball stayed up there a long time, and Clifford couldn't come down with it, but it was last touched by Clifford, so it'll belong to Carolina.
And Roy Williams showing some confidence in his junior and Henson, and this is a shot that he wouldn't have taken his freshman year. We talked about him expanding his range with a nice soft shot that didn't drop down, but Henson with the 2 fouls has got to be a little careful.
Look at Barnes go up and get it, and he walks with it. Just lost his balance when he came down, which gets a little smile on his face.
Well, he had to jump laterally about 4 feet, really rebounding outside of his range, and because of that came down a little awkwardly and didn't have good balance.
Steve Donahue knows this is a pretty good chance to get in this ball game a little bit. Down 11. Got 3 minutes left in the half. Like to get it down to single digits if he can.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, he's done a nice job. He kind of put a stop to that run that Carolina went on to build up this gap, but his team has calmed down a little bit. You don't want them to replicate that going into the first half.
Nice move by Moton. Probably should have taken it right to the hoop himself. Here comes Marshall. He'll push it. Look underneath. Back to Zeller. Offensive foul on Zeller.
Yeah, nice job of Heckman stepping in that time.
Second time Zeller's done that. You've got to recognize how the officials are going to call the game.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good call. He's well outside the block line, established position.
That's a good call. And the officials say, stay in holiday spirit, fellas. So yeah. I guess they're letting them know about it.
Sorry, that was 7 days ago. We're done with that. It's the ACC.
How about that steal? Just picked his pocket. Barnes, Zeller. Tried to go back to Barnes.
Well, got lucky. Moton got a hand on it, but that was a tough pass for Zeller to corral. Although he runs the floor as well as any big in the country.
Boy, that play was set up perfectly, and Bullock just couldn't finish. I think he was surprised at how alone he was up there.
Yeah, Lonnie Jackson didn't see the play. The referee got the ball to him quickly.
Anderson. Boy, they're getting their shots, Mike. Stop, pop, bang.
We're talking about it, and I think Roy Williams would like Kendall Marshall to be a little more aggressive. I mean, he's not a guy, you didn't want him scoring 15 to 18 points. But at some point during the course of the ACC season, he's going to have to keep some teams honest.
Marshall's first bucket of the game. Oh, good defense by Marshall. He let him right out of bounds. Took the inside away, forced him outside against the line.
Well, here's the look, and their teams are going to play off of him, give him some room. And as I said, you're going to have to at least make teams honest by taking that shot and having confidence with it. He's a pretty good shooter.
That's Boston College 11th turnover the first half. And now Carolina turns it over. Coming up at halftime, we'll have analysis, highlights, stats, and a whole lot more for you. That's all coming up on the Hardy's halftime report, so we hope you stay with us for that. It's a great opportunity to see this North Carolina team. They're 13-2, ranked 4th by the coaches, 3rd in the Associated Press. Their only losses to Kentucky and UNLV. I'm surprised they're only 12th in the RPI. Good drive and bucket by Anderson. Correction, that was Humphries. Under a minute to play, 53.4 remaining in the first half. Tim Brandt and Mike Jaminski with you.
Humphries he's been the most efficient player they've had, 3 of 5 in the game. He's been very aggressive. Big basket, bringing it back to 11.
Marshall takes it to the hoop and banks it in. They were talking about Kendall Marshall this week up in Washington. His alma mater, O'Connell, coached by Joe Wooten, Morgan Wooten's son, played Gonzaga in a big ball game up in Washington. And Gonzaga won that game, but Kendall wasn't happy about it. Still follows his high school very closely. Under 20 seconds to play in the half. 15 on the game clock, 10 on the shot clock. Clifford takes it in strong and banks it in.
He can handle the ball with a couple dribbles. They will pull him out on the floor.
Marshall again has that block by Clifford, but he's called for the foul. So that is the second personal on Clifford.
We talked about it, and we talked about Steve Donahue maybe wanting this game 70 max. And but I think if you come into Carolina and play them here and hold them to 40 or under and a half, that's a pretty decent defensive job.
Kendall Marshall, a 59% free throw shooter, although he's much better than that. Just got off to a slow start this year. Came into this game 16 of 27 at the line, 1 for 1 this afternoon. Got another one coming. He's among 20 finalists for the Bob Cousy Award. He just found that out this past week. Makes them both. He now has 6 points. And it's blocked. Humphrey has his shot blocked to end the half. And Carolina